A little less than 2 years ago, I was at a big international conference in Washington, D.C. And the moment I'm going to take you in was the final day of the conference, day 4 of 4. It was a Tuesday. And I was sitting at a table next to a really kind lady, and she was interested in me and what I was doing. She asked me, "How's your business going, Jeff?" And I said, "It's going pretty well. Life is good, I'm growing, but I really want to take things to the next level." And she looked at me and she said, "You know, Jeff, if you're really interested in growing, you need to talk to that man named Randy Gage sitting diagonal from us." And I looked at her and I said, "Right now, in this moment?" She said, "Yeah, Jeff, go over right now, this instant, and say, 'Randy, I'd love to pick your mind about your success and to learn from you further.'" And I was afraid, I was nervous. This feeling of doubt came up inside of me. Randy Gage is a multi-million-dollar keynote speaker, one of the best speakers in history. He's also a New York Times best-selling author. And sitting at that table next to him were literally all multimillionaires, all best-selling authors. And I thought I had no right to even approach them. But I said, "You know what? Last day of the conference, I'm going to go up." And I said, "Hey, Randy, I'm Jeff Davis. I'd love to learn from you. Pick your mind about your success." And he wasn't free in that instant, but he said, "I'd love to talk to you, Jeff. Catch me at the end of lunch." And not only did we connect face-to-face, but I spoke with him in depth on the phone. We've connected via email, and I featured him at length in my most recently published book, Reach Your Mountaintop. The most interesting part about this that I wanted to share with you too, before we go on, is that the lady who I was sitting next to later on got inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. She's a well-known singer and a best-selling author, but I had no idea who she was whatsoever. So I was just being myself talking to her because I had no idea who she was. And I realized it truly is all in your head. Now, why did I just share that? What's the point of this? I had a light bulb moment. I had an epiphany at this conference that I genuinely felt compelled to share with you. And the epiphany I had is that everyone is just a person like you and me. No one is better or more worthy than you, and we're all equal. And up until that conference, a little less than 2 years ago, I always put successful people up on a pedestal, and I literally felt like I did not deserve to talk to them. I literally felt like they were out of my reach. I doubted myself. I was not deserving. I didn't feel good enough. What I realized, my epiphany, is that you can approach anybody. No one's above you. There's no such thing as a celebrity. There is no such thing as a famous person. And I'm not being motivational right now. This is not to inspire you. I mean, as a literal fact, a literal practical fact, we are all people. Like you and me, these successful people are no different. The other two core things I wanted to share with you from this epiphany light bulb moment I had after this big conference in DC, in addition to everyone being a person like you and me, is take a risk, a well-calculated, reasonable risk, as often as you can. Successful people take risks. It's not always easy to do it, and you might get nervous like I did before approaching that man, but take more risks because the profit in business and life is for the risk taker. And then the other thing that I wanted to share you while we're on this topic is ask for what you want. Ask for what you want. Most people never ask for what they want. When I went up to Randy, I was nervous and I felt really embarrassed being in front of all these successful people, and I'm a no-name speaker. I'm a nobody. I'm like, who am I to talk to these guys? And I just said, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I'm going to talk to Randy. And I didn't just say hello and stand there awkwardly. I said, hello, I'm Jeff Davis. Can I have a few minutes of your time? I'd love to pick your mind about your success. So take the risk and ask for what you want. You would not believe how many people do not ask for what they want, with the underlying mountaintop mindset of literally, as a practical fact, we are all equal, no one is above you, you can approach anybody, and you can achieve what they've done if you follow the right path, stay true to yourself. Now, the second half of this speech, we've got about 5 minutes left. And I genuinely pride myself on, in addition to being inspirational, sharing practical content. Something that you can apply in your daily life during the ups and downs, during the struggles, as you're having difficulties. So my encouragement to you is, of the next 5 tips I share with you, just take one thing that resonates with you and apply it in your life. Just one thing. These are what I call the 5 pillars of the Mountaintop way of life. I interviewed 28 different world-renowned experts in my book, featured their insights. I'm condensing it all down into 5 pillars that you can apply in your life. Pillar 1, tip 1, is to define your own version of success. Define your own version of success. Most people do not take the time to do this. So when I say define your own version of success, I mean literally take the time out of your schedule, whether it be in a journal, a notebook. I have a journal, maybe it's in a Word document on your computer. Write out, what does success mean to you? Is it about having a cottage to yourself and being able to write poetry? It may not be about fame and money. Is it being able to dictate your own schedule? Is it being able to answer to yourself? Now, here's the key. Writing it down doesn't mean you're going to have that version of success right away, but it does give you something that most people do not have their whole lives, and that is clarity. It gives you clarity. Your idea of success can evolve over time. It can change into something different if you'd like, but at least have a general idea of where you're going. Pillar number 2 of the Mountaintop way of life, from the world-renowned experts that I talk to across all of these different states and countries, is to be emotionally intelligent in your response to other people. So emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. The Mountaintop way of life means that as you're doing what you want to do, not everyone's going to like it. People may criticize you. People may doubt you. People may not think you can do it. Now, I'm going to be very transparent here right now. I struggle with this one the most. I'm way better at it than I used to be, but I'm still actively improving at it, and this is a big weakness of mine because I want everyone to like me, and when someone doesn't like me, I get caught up in my head, I start to doubt myself. So this is something that I was able to learn from this emotional intelligence expert that I featured in the book, when he said that it's not about what someone does to you, it's how you respond that counts. So substitute even-keeled, well-reasoned responses for those knee-jerk reactions. What do I mean by being emotionally intelligent? Do you go your own path, your own version of success, but be respectful when someone else criticizes you. Say, thank you for the feedback, I appreciate it. If I had heard that earlier, that would have saved me from a lot of really unpleasant conversations and different kind of interactions that if I just realized, just be respectful and walk away, it'll save you a lot of time, continue on your journey. Pillar number 3 of the Mountaintop way of life, something you can apply in your life. I got to interview one of the top time management experts, and that is to get at least 2 important things done each day. 2 important things done each day. If you're anything like me, you have a really long to-do list. I just have endless amounts of to-do lists. And what I've learned from these experts, as we're learning together, is that it's not about getting everything done, it's about getting the most important things done. The expert I featured said that if you get 2 important things done a day, that's accounting for weekends and holidays, roughly speaking, about 500 important things done a year. And that will really move you along step by step towards your own version of success. Pillar number 4 of the Mountaintop way of life, of reaching your version of success, not what society tells you, is to implement a servant leadership mindset. Implement a servant leadership mindset. Leadership is about serving other people. It's not about taking something. One thing that has worked for me is to volunteer at homeless shelters and soup kitchens. It keeps your problems in perspective and at the same time allows you to help other people. Yes, this is your success, this is your life, this is your journey. And at the same time, think about how can you help other people? How does what you're doing apply to someone else's problem? Sandy was telling me earlier today how she's doing very well because she is solving a pain point for other people. She is solving problems, and that's an incredibly brilliant move, and that's why she's as successful as she is. So solve people's problems, serve them, and remember to also sometimes get out of your own head and go volunteer. That has worked for me, especially when I was feeling down. The 5th pillar of the Mountaintop way of life that I want to leave you with here today is visualization. Visualization. Now, I want to be very real with you right now. I want to be very, very real. most people will never apply this. Most people do not take this seriously. And I used to be one of them. But when I started to visualize the desired outcome of what I wanted, and then it would happen, amazingly enough, a lot of the times, it came true. It's very powerful. Now, I know you're busy. I know you have a lot going on. But take 5 minutes a day. Just 5 minutes a day. It could be morning, your lunch break. It could be the evening before you go to bed. 5 minutes a day. Visualize your desired outcome. Now, this tip usually works, but it doesn't work when you're competing against Sandy in the international speech contest. When she got first runner-up, I got second runner-up. So when you're competing against her, all these tips go out the window. Say goodbye. So that was a good day. So remember to visualize the outcome and, of course, take action. So I'm not just saying visualize the outcome and sit in your room all day. Visualize what you'd like and then actually get out there and take action. The universe rewards action. Let me recap. Right as we're at the end of our time here together today, the first half of the speech was geared towards inspiring you to approach successful people. Forget about me. Forget about Jeff. I was simply using that story as a vehicle to give you something that will benefit you in your life. Approach successful people. Remember that we are literally all just people. No one is above you. No one is better than you. We're all equal. Take more risks and ask for what you want. The second half of the speech was the 5 pillars of the Mountaintop way of life. I curated 3 years of interviews and publishing a book into 5 minutes for your benefit. Define your own version of success. Be emotionally intelligent. Get at least 2 important things done each day. Implement the servant leadership mindset and visualize your way to your mountaintop while you are taking daily action. I encourage you to apply just one thing from this speech that resonated with you. And I will see you, my friends, at the mountaintop.